What is up, YouTube? This is One coming at you with another video, and today, since it's the Halloween season, I'm going to do a horror-related video. And that is my top 5 favorite episodes of The Twilight Zone. Now, this show is amazing. If you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. But only the original Rod Serling version. They've tried to recapture the magic twice now, and I just don't think they can. Without Rod Serling, it's not as good. He gave the show so much. Now, let me also preface this by saying this is the hardest list I've ever had to make. There are tons of episodes that deserve to be on a best of list, but at the end of the day, I just went with my personal favorites. But there are a couple episodes that I want to give as honorable mentions. My first one is One for the Angels. This one is not that good, to be honest, but I just really love the character of Death as played by Murray Hamilton. That may be my favorite personification of death in anything. My other one is Mr. Denton on Doomsday, which is just a really feel-good episode, and that's one of the reasons I like it so much. Stop Over in a Quiet Town, which is an episode that honestly makes me laugh quite a bit. I really like the dynamic between the husband and the wife in that episode. Time Enough at Last. It has Burgess Meredith in it. What more do you want me to say? And The Hitchhiker, which is just one of the creepiest episodes. So with all that out of the way, let's get to my list, starting with number 5, and that is The Masks. This episode is about a dying rich man who invites his daughter and her family to his mansion during Mardi Gras. He promises to divide his fortune amongst them equally as long as they wear these grotesque masks that reflect who they are on the inside. If any of them take their masks off, they get nothing. Part of the reason why I love this episode is it does one of the things Rod Serling did best, and that was show bad people get their comeuppance. Half the episode is just this old guy verbally destroying these people, and it's a hell of a lot of fun to watch. The only thing that keeps it from being higher on the list is that the first half of the show is a little slow. I'm not going to spoil the ending for any of these episodes, by the way, because, come on, you just don't spoil the ending of a Twilight Zone episode. That's not cool. My number 4 pick is Eye of the Beholder, arguably the most iconic episode of the show. This episode centers on a woman who is undergoing surgery in the hopes of looking like a quote-unquote normal person. This is one of the creepiest episodes because Rod Serling would often show us dark reflections of our society, and in this episode he really unloads. You see, if the surgery doesn't work, this woman will be exiled to a ghetto with other people of her kind, and you really feel her desperation. I mean, this episode gets pretty emotional at times. And like all episode, it comes complete with a total uppercut punch of an ending. Check it out. Number 3, The Dummy. Admittedly, this is more a personal thing. This episode never really received any acclaim, although it did get decent reviews, but I just love the chilling atmosphere of this one. Dummies just creep me out, what can I say? Its story is nothing new, but its execution is just fantastic. It centers on Cliff Robertson, who you may remember as Uncle Ben from the Spider-Man movies, and he's really good in this. Here he plays a ventriloquist who is convinced that his dummy is not only alive, but evil. This is one of the scarier episodes. Again, there's just this underlying sense of dread. The whole thing feels right out of a bad dream. And on top of that, the angles, the lighting, the shots, I mean, this may be the best directed episode of the show, in my opinion. It looks so noir-esque. It's fantastic. Number 2 is It's a Good Life. This episode is good. It's real good. Swell. This one is about a nasty kid who was born with almost godlike mental powers, and he's plunged the town around him into despair, isolation, and of course, fear. I defy you to not feel a little on edge when viewing this episode. It's just unsettling. It also has a certain moment involving a jack-in-the-box that traumatized me as a child. To be honest, I really don't want to spoil anything else about this episode. Just give it a watch. And my number 1 favorite Twilight Zone episode of all time is 5 Characters in Search of an Exit. Well, unsettling and terrifying, that's all well and good. One of the reasons I love this episode in particular so much is because it's just so damn fun. It's about 5 people, an army major, a ballerina, a bagpipe player, a clown, and a tramp, all trapped in this cylindrical room. They don't know who they are, they don't know how they got there, and they're just trying to escape. The thing that makes this episode so good is the chemistry between the characters. They all play off each other so well, and it leads to some genuinely funny comedic moments. And I know some people complain about the ending. I actually thought it fit the story perfectly. I just really love this episode. So, that was my list of the top 5 favorite Twilight Zone episodes for me. One, signing out.